Wingtip.
Good afternoon. It is June 12th, 2019. You're listening to A Little Column A, Little Column B, hosted by William Nuss and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? I got a story for you, and I got some questions for you. There's a lock of Beethoven's hair up for auction. The famous pianist, I'm not sure exactly what else is, he was definitely musically inclined, very famous. But my question for you is, how much do you think his hair is going for? Lock of his hair, it's in a nice little case you can display. How much?
Too much. That's the answer. Way too much. I'm gonna say, I don't know. Is $1,000? Is that fair? Is that like way under or way over?
High bids expected at $15,000 to $19,000.
Man, talk about a real
So you
trophy
could get-
prize, though. That's all it is. It's just a trophy.
It's for sure a trophy. So follow-up question: is there anyone's hair that you would purchase?
If my hair was for sale, I would buy it because I'm very happy with it. I don't think I'd be very happy
You'd
without
buy
it.
your own hair.
If I didn't have it, yeah. if I somehow
Okay.
lost it all and I could acquire it all back, I would buy my own hair back. I
Okay,
feel like
that
I have
sounds
awesome
I feel
hair.
Like I feel like you're trying to circumnavigate old age here or something. Like you're buying youth.
I'm
I
buying
think you might be cheating a little bit here.
Maybe, but I'd be a lot less embarrassed to buy my own hair than buying someone else's hair. Is that wrong? Is that weird?
seems weird.
Am I weird for that? I
It
feel like
definitely
I
seems
feel like this
weird.
is the weird story. I'm not being weird.
Yeah. Well, and here's the follow-up to this story that kind of adds to some more of the weirdness. The auctioneer says that the hair was given by Beethoven to a contemporary, Anton Helm, as a gift for Helm's wife.
Well,
So to walk you through that, I kind of stumbled through that a little bit. It was, I cut a lock of my hair, and then you were interested in it to give to your wife as a present.
wow.
I guess I'm not as famous as Beethoven. I just have a nationwide podcast. Pretty sure he didn't have any of those. So I don't know. Apples and oranges, maybe. But that seems weird, right? Do you think this was a common thing? Is this just gone out of fashion, or is even people at the time are thinking, yeah, it's pretty weird?
Is this something that's just commonly for sale, like regularly out there? Like if I just search the internet, I'll be able to find like a lock of hair from other famous celebrities. Is that a thing? I always feel like this is like a blown up TV thing where they act like super fans on TV are like obsessed with all this when in reality maybe they're not. Like I don't think there's anyone that truly really values anything like that. But I mean I could be wrong. I don't know. Some people have so much money they don't know what to do with. This seems like an item that if you didn't have a lot of money and you didn't know what to do with it, you would waste it on silly things like this. But does it really?
It's definitely a unique trophy item.
I mean, if being a super fan of somebody or somebody that was incredibly talented, does having some possession of them really? How is that valuable to you? Like, I mean, you're a super fan of? Let's say Coach K. Coach K, the great Duke coach. You're a huge Duke fan.
Famous hair.
Is there anything like would you really have value in like hold this? I don't know. I don't even know this lock of hair very close as if this is a prized possession. If you did.
That's why I was interested to ask you if you had anyone, because I can't really think of anyone whose hair I'd want.
The hair just seems like such
Even
a
the way it's
strange thing.
presented, it's definitely not like a Ziploc baggie with hair in it. It's like, I guess as tastefully as you can. It's a hair, and it's in a circle, and it's wrapped up, and it's framed. So as trying to make it as unweird as possible and display it as nicely as possible as they're doing, it just still, I'm not seeing the appeal.
Well, I don't even understand autographs. Like, what is so cool about an autograph? I mean, I feel like that's more or less you saying you met the person, but it's not so cool for the other people that didn't get to meet them that you show them that you met them. Like, it's really only cool for the one person. Like, this doesn't seem like it should be relevant at all. Like, would you rather have an autograph or a picture with somebody?
Oh, picture. No one really gets autographs anymore.
Yeah.
I've heard that from a few podcasts that saying once the camera phone came in, no one's really asking for autographs anymore. Everybody wants a selfie. Everybody wants a picture. That's what they're looking for.
So, but even then, like, what are you going to proudly display this somewhere? If you had a picture with Coach K, is this going to be like on your desk at home, or are you going to put it up on your wall in your room?
That's why I feel like a picture, that seems cool. all right, at least goes up on Facebook, like, hey, got to meet Coach K. Here's a picture of us together, proof. I think if you came to my house and there was hair on the wall, even if it was tastefully done,
I don't know how that would
there's
be
gonna be some
tastefully done.
follow-up
By the way,
questions.
if this could be tastefully done, I want to see it. Like I don't know what that would look like. I'm just kind of fascinated by what that would like. Is it gonna be encased and have like a little placard about
It's
it
in a
telling
frame.
you?
It's like a picture. It's in a frame. It's just hair. It's like not that thick.
All right, so let me ask you this: is there any way to like truly verify all this? Like, was it like DNA verified and all that? Like, does it come with like
Oh,
the certificates and all
oh, I'm
that?
glad you asked. I'm glad you asked.
Because
The
is what's
reason
holding me off from
that
just cutting my hair and starting selling it on eBay right now, and just
the
saying this
reason that
was
Beethoven gave the lock of hair to his buddy personally was because he saw a lock of hair that his buddy had already procured from a third party, and it was turned out that was actually from a goat. But it has been confirmed by the auction house that it is indisputably human and comes with a silk thread and a 19th century glazed oval frame. So they're saying indisputably human. They're not saying indisputably Beethoven's. They're just saying indisputably human. So I don't think there's anything stopping you. Uh,
so. Is,
I think it's fraud. I think you'd get in trouble if it found out and you kind of just admitted it on record. So you might have to figure something out there. Actually,
all right, we'll
have
do.
one of the interns just edit that out. Edit it
Yeah,
out real quick.
well, don't you think kind of to a certain degree this is almost like the Fire Festival, where it's like if you had this much money to go see Blink 182 at a private island, don't you think you kind of had this coming for you? Like if you're dumb enough to buy a lock of hair that I fraudulently sold online, does that kind of just seem like fair game?
All right, follow up question. Whose hair would you be pretending to have?
Oh man,
Whose hair is most like yours?
I don't know. I'd like to describe it as one of a kind, but that's it's kind of just me. I don't really.
Well, that sounds like an awful kind of hair to have. It sounds very vain. It sounds all good in principle, but if you're looking to sell it as somebody else's, it should really not be one of a kind. You would really want it to be like the most common hair in the world. You'd be like, yep, this is totally all of these guys' hair, and you could just be selling it all under different aliases.
All right, this is gonna be a weird Google search here, but famous black hair celebrities. And you think is this going to be
Well,
like
I'm
an actual?
interested to find out where this goes.
Yeah, I don't know where this is going to go. I'm going to apologize to all the fans right now. Make sure you check out our website lcalcb.com for all the old podcasts on there. Oh man, yeah, there. All right, there's a website for this. I'm not clicking on it, but what if I just go to images? So this is the other thing. There's not one male person that came up right now. It's all women. So I don't know if I'd want to sell my hair. Or would that even be better? Maybe if I do swing it as somebody else's.
Yeah, you have had long hair in the past.
What about like Stamos? That sounds good, right? That's somebody who might buy his hair. Can I pawn off mine as that? Is that a bad comparison?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know what
I think you
the
should
right
try.
answer is here. No, we're gonna try.
Okay, here we go. Tuck this away. For the next bet, you have to try to sell your hair online as some famous person. Tuck that away. That's not a confirmed. That isn't agreed upon by all parties, but an idea for the ideas bucket.
All right, you're kind of. If I lose the bet this year and I'm able to sell my hair for $15,000 and I cancel the podcast with all my winnings, are you gonna be upset about that?
Why would you cancel a podcast? It made this great idea. Why would you get rid of a great idea?
I don't think I need the idea anymore. This seems like a kind of a dead end of a good idea, by the way. This is also a dead end of a topic that we've somehow managed to talk about for 10 minutes. Let's talk about something a little bit more relevant, like the NBA Finals, and there's so much packed into the past couple of days here. Just NBA futures have been changed, whether it's Kevin Durrant, NBA franchises, like the entire outlook changed. Like this is going to be a milestone on the NBA timeline of nothing was the same after this. And what I'm talking about is the Kevin Durant Achilles. He looks like it's confirmed that he tore it. I think he's already got it fixed. Did he already get the surgery done? I think
It just came out just before we started that he got the surgery, ruptured Achilles.
So well, let's just start with this. Do you think that Achilles was already torn before he went in? Like they already kind of knew going in that he may more or less need surgery either way, whether he plays or doesn't play, or do you think he actually ruptured it and completely ruined it and is now out the entire next year because of it?
It's hard to kind of tell where some of that stuff with a pull versus a tear, and they're kind of the same thing, but just across a different spectrum. So it was definitely sore before, and they said it was the calf, and maybe it was more the Achilles, but they're kind of connected. So it could have been that because his calf was weak, his Achilles had to work harder, and that's when that injury occurred. It was really too bad because he was playing really well and it was really exciting, and I was really hoping for the narrative of Kevin Durant comes back and just plays really well and at least gets him to a game 7, and it's just a lot of excitement, and he was playing really well. But as soon as the camera hadn't even panned back over because he lost the ball, it's going up with Toronto on like a fast break, and you hear the announcers go, "Oh, it looks like Durant's down." It was just like immediately, it's like, "Oh, he's done. He's done for real this time." And it's too bad. He's going into off season as a free agent, and I think that he'll be in a better situation than DeMarcus Cousins, but it still does not help you to have a major injury.
I mean, it never helps. I was so happy that some of the Toronto fans managed to like calm down the crowd that immediately just blew up in Toronto like the second he went down, as if this was some immediate victory. They ended up losing the game anyways, and I was like, yeah, that's what you get. You should never cheer for an injury. We joke all the time in fantasy, like I'm never rooting for anybody to get an injury, but if it happens and it benefits me, it's hard not to benefit from it, but I'm not gonna be proud of it. It's not how you want to win. I don't maybe that's coming from a Patriot fan that has won a lot of Super Bowls in his lifetime. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I would wish upon injury if I was Toronto that's never been to the finals. But I'm kind of glad that
think,
got off that kind of
yeah, I
quieted
think that
down.
got that's it's a tricky spot to be in because your team is on the brink of winning a championship. You've never even made a finals before. It's like kind of a whole country thing, with it being Canada more than even just a city. I saw some stat where it's like over 50% of all Canadians have watched some or all of the NBA finals, which has just been a crazy number. And I can see when that happens, your first reaction, it's almost like we just won the championship. And so it initially is joy. And it just takes a beat. Just you have a outburst of emotion. It's almost like when Draymond Green gets a call on him he doesn't agree with, and he kind of like explodes for a sec, and then like reels it back in. And because I remember when the Celtics were playing the Cavs, it was Game 4, first round, and when Kelly Olynyk got Kevin Love's shoulder and like popped it out. And that's a Game 4. We were already down 3-0. There was no way we're winning this series. There's no way. But I remember the first thing because he ran immediately out of the tunnel, like right underneath
Mm-hmm.
where I was. And the first thought was just kind of like was like a form of it was joy. I was just like, oh, we got a chance. We got a chance at this before it's like you process it for a second. It's like, ooh, hold on, step back. This is more to do with like that guy's really hurt. Same with like Kevin Durant, and they did pretty quickly afterwards like settled down, kind of like realized, okay, we didn't just win the championship. This isn't a for sure thing. This is a person, and they chanted his name, and I think that they covered for it. But I think a lot of Toronto has horrible fans just because of this. It was a knee jerk reaction,
Well, I also
understandable reaction, and
the one argument I heard
they're
for it.
covered.
There has to be an argument for it of saying that they did steal the ball from Kevin Durant. Like that was kind of the immediate cheer. It's just that the cheer got louder when he fell down after. And I thought that's where it's like, whoa, hold on, pump the brakes here. Let's not get any louder for that. Like I think the immediate
Yeah,
reaction.
there was the waves like, oh, you're
Mm,
done, see you later.
yeah. So now that we kind of know what happened, let's play a little role playing game here. If you're Kevin Durant, do you regret doing this? Like if you could go back in time, would you do something differently?
I don't think so because I think you're at the point where you're down 3-1, and in your head you're probably thinking, team needs me. I'm feeling pretty good. Doctors are saying, yep, we think you're pretty good. If you want to go, like, I think you can go. And you're like the two options are either I play and we win, we keep the season alive, or I don't play and we lose and the season's over anyway. So kind of a worst case your season's over, and unfortunately that happened with an injury. But I don't think think how competitive you are for like a men's league game. Like,
I know.
this is a guy getting
I
paid millions
understand
of
it.
dollars.
I understand it. I just think he only got hurt the first time he tried to play a one-on-one isolation play. Everything else leading up to that, every three-pointer was a catch and shoot, which I think he could have done the whole game. It's hard to put a leash on a guy like that has obviously the ability to more or less do whatever he wants. I mean, he's one of the best, if not the best, basketball player in the world. So to tell him like, "Hey man, I know you can do all this stuff, but just don't do that because you're going to get hurt and it's not going to be worth it." I don't. So part of me kind of almost blames the coaching staff for not reeling him in and holding on to that leash of being like, "Hey man, you just got to be a spot up shooter right now. You go to the corner, you play a little bit of defense here and there, but you don't do anything like he did on the injury play. You don't cross over anybody. You don't try and step over and dunk anything." I almost feel like he should be responsible for that to some degree. But it also has to kind of flip to the factor of how hurt was he really going into it? Like maybe he was fine, and it's just like that fluke play that was going to happen.
Yeah, you never really know. There's talk of the load management and did he play too many games, but I think sometimes there's just some luck involved and some just I don't know if you can exactly call it fate of just you can do everything right and sometimes you still get hurt and you can do everything wrong and sometimes not get hurt and just that's kind of just the way it goes.
All right. So you said if you're Kevin Durant, you're not regretting playing at all. If you're Steve Kerr or the Warriors organization, do you regret? It sounds like they gave him a little bit of push on this based on the reaction we saw after, especially from the owner. It felt like they did put some pressure on him and almost leaning him into doing this. And it's obviously every player wants to play. I just feel like somebody has to be the adult in the room. So that for me felt like somebody taking responsibility for kind of not being responsible and not saying, "Oh, Kevin, you probably shouldn't play." So if you were the owner or Steve Kerr or the coach or anyone in the Warriors organization, if you could do this all over again, would you do anything differently?
I think you're still looking for him to play. I'm sure there's tons of doctors. You probably have some of the best doctors that are looking at it, and it's not black and white. It's not you're healthy, you're not healthy. It's somewhere along the spectrum in between, and it seemed good. I'm sure they went through a bunch of tests, and he figured it out. They showed him doing all sorts of crazy dances before the game, so I'm spinning, warming up pre-game. It's like you're doing all of these things, and maybe they even told him, "Hey, try to be more of a spot-up shooter. Try to do this." But I've been in situations where playing ball second time in a day, and it's like, ooh, calves are starting to kind of get to me. I should try to be more of a spot-up shooter. But then you get a lane and you just go to drive, and I'm not anywhere near the level of Kevin Durant, so I'm sure like it happens. But I don't think the team or the owners, it's just unfortunate. I don't think there should be some sort of they're terrible people because they forced Kevin Durant to play. I think Kevin Durant wanted to play. They held him out for they held him out a long time, and at this point, it's been over a month, and thought, "Yup, we think he's good now."
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to analyze right now. I feel like all the talk and all the radio, like this, even what we're doing right now, nothing's really gained from any of it. But now that it's happened, I guess we can really talk about the future of all this NBA free agency. I would say generally NBA free agency doesn't start until the best player signs somewhere. Kevin Durant is the best player this offseason if he opts out. And it's kind of like all the free agency drama won't start until he decides where he's going to go. And that really just changed everything right now because do you think any teams are going to be less inclined to offer him the max? Are the Knicks suddenly going to be a little hesitant on that? Or is anybody welcoming Kevin Durant with open arms, even if they got to wait an extra year?
It's going to be definitely a little bit of a hesitation, but I think with it happening now, even if you get Durant halfway through next year, that's still worthwhile. Just the way the max works, it's like that's the cap. There's players, Durant, LeBron, that are worth more than the max, and so if you only get them for half the year, but you can lock them down, you can build something in the meantime. I think that he'll be fine. He'll still get the max. I don't know where exactly it'll be, but it does throw a little bit of a wrench into all the proceedings.
Well, now it kind of feels like he should not opt out and just take that extra year right now and then deal with it all a year from now. That seems like I don't know. It's hard to turn down the money, especially if you're coming back from a huge injury. And if you can get a long, guaranteed, maxed out contract, go for it. But if I don't know, it's weird because I guess those contracts aren't going to disappear. They really should. Because if you think about it, this is kind of a 2-year thing. If he's out all of majority of next year, and then it probably takes him a year to really become what he used to be, and by then he's 32, and we're kind of looking more at the back end of everything. This could be a really bad contract for somebody coming up. Like there's multiple reasons to hesitate. Like I just said all that, but I don't know if anyone's gonna do it. Maybe they shouldn't. Who do you think this affects the most now? Like which team or which free agencies, which free agency players do you think this affects the most? Like, is there anyone specifically that's like all screwed up now that they had this, Kevin Durrant dream and plan? Like, are the Knicks and Nets in trouble right now?
I think the Knicks are always in trouble all the time,
All the
regardless
time.
of what happens other places. Uh, it just feels like the Knicks would have screwed it up even if they got Durant anyway.
Well,
But I don't think this affects
well,
specifically anyone or any team because no one knew what exactly he was going to do as of right now. There's a lot of talk that he's going to go to New York, but it just seemed like it's all still very blustery. And like you said, wait till the season's over and then we can really get into free agency and see where everyone really is interested in going.
well, I think with Kyrie Irving, it sounds like if he is going to leave, he's going somewhere with somebody, and that somebody in a lot of the rumors was Kevin Durant. And if Kevin Durant's out all of next year, you got to think that's got to shift his judgment a little bit of like, wow, I'm really kind of giving up on next year. And again, you're only in your peak and your prime for so long. Like this could easily be a year that you waste and you want back, and you don't want to waste. So I don't know if I really think it's going to change like a lot of people. Like Kyrie may end up staying now if he's not able to pair up with somebody else, unless he goes to the Lakers, which seems like that seems like a wild decision. The media would eat that up.
All the Kyrie stuff it just keeps wrapping around and makes no sense. Of he's upset, and so it gets, and it really doesn't seem like he's coming back to the Celtics. Seems like this year did not work well. But then all the locations of he's gonna join up with Durant in New York. It's like, well, he went to Boston because he wanted to have his own team. If you join up with Durant, it's Durant's team.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So where else? Well, maybe the Nets. It's like, okay, you just struggled a whole bunch being a leader on a young team. So now you're gonna go to another young team. Okay, well that doesn't make any sense. Oh no, he's gonna go to the Lakers. He's gonna join LeBron. Well, how did he get traded from Cleveland? Because he said he wanted to have his own team. And he didn't want to play with LeBron. Didn't want to be in his shadow anymore. Well, if you go to the Lakers, that's where LeBron is. So none of them make sense.
It's a teenager mindset. It's an immaturity. These aren't. He's making decisions without thinking about consequences, and then regretting the consequences he has to deal with. And he's not learning from anything. He just keeps going on. He's too stubborn. Like it's gonna have to click and change at some point. Or it's just not going to work. Or he's going to end up being Carmelo Anthony very soon if he doesn't start making some smarter decisions and learning from every mistake you just said he made. It's hard, I guess, when people put a microphone in front of you and you're supposed to say exactly what you want and you say it, and then like 3 months later you're like, well, I got everything I wanted, but this kind of sucks. Like, why did I ever say that? And you just either have to eat your words or keep being Kyrie Irving, which right now it sounds like he's just going to keep being Kyrie Irving, and he's going to be regretting, I think, a lot of the decisions. He's all over the place. He's even more all over the place than Anthony Davis right now. This whole Paul Rich or whatever the agent over there and making these announcements that in 2020, regardless of where he gets traded to, he's going to test his free agency. It's like anybody that trades for him better be well aware of the risk, as if this hasn't already been known. I don't know why they need to announce that so regularly. Like is he trying to just stay in the news for all this? Like is Anthony Davis benefiting from any of this?
It doesn't seem it. And it was all last year, and the shirt at the end of the year saying that's all, folks. And it's not for sure he's going to get traded. Like before the season starts, like he might have to go back to that arena, and you're just going to more and more alienate a fan base, and it's just going to poison other fan bases, and just doesn't seem great. And just are you going to throw? You already threw away one season of your prime. You're going to throw a season and a half, 2 seasons, just because you really don't want to play in New Orleans?
I don't
With
think
Zion.
I agree. I think he's somebody that needs to eat his own words and just suck it up and stay. I think he'd be much happier there. But it's really hard to go backwards. The deed has kind of been done, and forgiveness is difficult. I think a lot of these people hold grudges, whether they're NBA owners or players. There's not a whole lot of reason to have a lot of loyalty, I suppose, in 2019. You could be shopped tomorrow. You could be traded tomorrow. It's not like the NBA is proven to be like super
You get
loyal to
hurt.
everybody. Yeah, you get hurt and you're out of the league. Things happen. Actually, while we're on the topic of NBA loyalty, let's do a little Tony Parker kind of tribute right now. Tony Parker announced his retirement. It was kind of like the really put on the back burner after this Kevin Durant injury. But Tony Parker, all-time great, multiple NBA champion for the San Antonio Spurs. I would say he's part of multiple dynasties, as well as an international player. Lots of good things say about Tony Parker. I say for sure a Hall of Famer. I would agree, right? You got him in the Hall of Fame?
Definitely because he's international. It's a little easier for international guys.
I even if he was an American player, I don't think it would have that much of a difference. I agree. He was in the era with Ginobili that kind of being an ambassador to being in a global game. I agree that has some value. But he was a hell of a player. I mean, he was a really good player. I remember at one point they wanted to trade him for Jason Kidd, and the Spurs said no.
Smart.
It's very smart. Any favorite
Spurs are smart.
any favorite Tony Parker moments or plays or anything stand out, or is this just kind of whatever? It's just another guy.
He was definitely, like you said, in that group with Manu and with the rest of that kind of Spurs run. Tim Duncan, Bowen for a while, just all those guys where it kind of had that. Ooh, we're not super sexy, but we're really good. And then it got into, they got Kawhi, and it was like, ooh, this is some fun basketball. People like weren't necessarily paying attention. So I don't know. I'm trying to rack my brain for any real like specific moment. He just had a lot of just great play.
I really just remember
I'm
like
not sure
his
if there's any,
signature
like, one
teardrop,
moment.
like his little floater. I would say that's like my best
Oh.
memory of him. Is like he was a guy that
Okay.
really did this all the time, regularly, made a living off of it. Wasn't always the greatest shooter, got better, but he was always a threat on the drive. He could score. I think that's what I'll remember him as. It's just a scorer that could get to the rim, and always had that floater. Somehow always get it off. Well, anyways, I wish
So you're
Tony
saying
Parker.
you won't remember all of his great plays as a Charlotte Hornet.
I think that's gonna hopefully be a Washington Wizard Jordan moment where we just that never really happened. Like that's a different book. That's a but hopefully he's makes better decisions in retirement than he did with the Charlotte Hornets. You know what? This is even more of an awkward transition. But speaking of retired basketball players having accidents and coming clean and not really knowing how to handle retirement, we are both Celtics fans, so this is a very bizarre and unappealing story. But this Paul Pierce leak of the wheelchair game, I don't even want to say it. You want to say it? I don't even. Why did he do this? Why is he doing this? I feel like every time I see Paul Pierce on TV with the microphone in him, I just regret everything. He's a curse at this point. He just spewing out gibberish every day. Why does he seems very desperate to stay relevant right now, and I don't think everyone's forgotten about him. He doesn't need to do this kind of stuff. But
I think that with this many media people, you just have to have some sort of shtick, and you just have to. If you're mild mannered, that's not entertainment. It's like you have to go to extremes, and you have to just do crazy stuff.
oh, this is crazy.
Although I also did hear that they're getting rid of the whole countdown crew except for Jalen Rose after this year. Or I guess the year's over. Well, almost over.
I can't say I
But
particularly
Beatles
enjoy.
gone, Phillips is gone, Pierce is gone. That's what I heard right before the pod started.
I can't say I particularly enjoy any of the names you just said. I mean, Jalen's all right,
But does
and
anybody
Beatles
who
good, but
watches these pregame shows? Who's watching this? I don't watch them. I don't watch the halftime show. I got my laptop. I got my phone.
all right.
What am I going to listen to them talk about that I can't find on Twitter from? I shouldn't say way smarter people, but that TV stuff is just so scripted and hot take, and it's like I don't need that. Like I'm already following the game. I'm watching the game. I don't really need to hear this group of people talk about it. It's like, no, I'm good. I'll watch something else.
I'm just such a super fan of the TNT crew, and I'm addicted to watching them. The post game is almost better than the actual game on some nights for the TNT crew.
Sometimes.
And I think you're at a direct comparison if you're ESPN of being like, well, they got these guys. These are also old NBA players. They've been doing it for a really long time, and they've kind of found this winning formula. They're doing their best to kind of replicate that, and I'm sure Pierce is doing the exact same thing and doing all these headlines, but it's coming with bad taste, like like the what we were talking about earlier, like how you would tastefully, I don't know, encase the thing of hair. Like Pierce is doing this all wrong. Like he's just, this is not how I would go about it. I'm very embarrassed. No, he's losing a Tommy point for me for this last one. Do you believe the story that he allegedly?
Let the man get paid.
Do you believe the story that he allegedly had a I'll say a bowel movement maybe during the
He took
NBA
it back
Finals?
afterwards.
Did he
That
take it
didn't
back?
happen.
So you don't
Yeah.
think it happened?
I don't think so.
So what do you think actually happened then?
I think when he fell weird, like wasn't right. It's like something doesn't feel right. We got to go into the locker room, and then just they got the cameras everywhere. So for some reason there was a wheelchair there where normally, like yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple days ago when Durant got hurt, they like walked him off. Why was there not a wheelchair there for him? Probably could have really used one. But I think it's like this whole thing of just like, oh, Paul Pierce was in a wheelchair, where it's just like, hey, you got brought out of the arena, and then there's a wheelchair there. And so you sat down in it and then went in, and turned out like everything was fine.
Everything is not fine. I'm not okay with any of it. I'm not okay with the
He
possibility
won
of
the championship.
I'm not okay with the possibility of people believing that this story could even
He
mildly
came back.
be true.
It was awesome. He hit a three like immediately, and if I'm not mistaken, he hit a second three like the next possession or the possession after that down, and it was awesome.
Well, he
That's
didn't
what I
look.
remember.
He didn't look injured. I know that. I remember that part. I remember him coming back in and be like, "Oh, he's not even limping. He's good."
Yeah, magic doctors.
Magic doctors. That just seems crazy to me.
It doesn't make any sense of if that was the case. Like what was it, game 2? Curry had the what would they call it, the intestinal distress or something. It's like, why would you just not at the time say that?
I
Like,
all right.
it just seems like a weird thing to hide. Of just like, nope, having stomach problems. I think we all know what that means. Boom.
It's just a weird story. He shouldn't have said it. I think he regrets it. But speaking of something you may regret, and it is a new startup offer. You can now. What is this, a startup business that will pay you $350 to name your baby? Name your
Yes,
child?
you give them $350 and they will name your baby.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm paying them or they're paying me?
Why would they pay you?
I don't know. They want to name their kid after their company or something. I thought they would pay me money for that. I'm paying them to come up with the name for my kid?
You're real nervous. You're real nervous about ruining your kid's name, so you're just going to pay this other company to take care of it.
I feel like I just answered that by asking the question I did. It's like, why aren't they paying me?
Well, so you got two options here. You got the $100, which is called the Riff package. That includes a 15-minute name storming session via the phone. Or you could do the $350, which is the Works package, which is a 15-minute consultation that leads to a list of 10 suggested first names and 10 suggested middle names for the baby.
Will they name a
I think this
podcast?
is-
We had a really hard time coming with our name. I mean, I'm happy with the second we got it. I think we both knew. Yeah, that's the one.
I don't think that we were gonna have someone pay for that, but I think this might be a better business idea than your hair idea. Could we just steal this idea?
I can come up with names.
Oh, I could for sure come up with names, and I could say your name real confidently.
What would be your best pitch right now? What's a name you would strongly advocate? Like, no, you want to name your kid this. This is the name you want. I know I'm putting you on a
What
spot.
is it male or female?
I was gonna leave it open, but if you have one,
Well, I need to know what I'm.
all right.
I can go with a.
I need to fill out
name
more
in
so you can
between.
generate this. Like you're actually gonna. All right, you're gonna put you. All right, let's say it's a male. Let's go with a male voice. Male name.
It's a male, Frank.
Frank.
Good strong name.
Frank.
Yep.
Gallagher.
Yep.
Frank.
Nope.
All right.
That's not a middle name.
All right. I guess there's.
James.
Seems
James is the middle
very
name.
seems very ordinary.
Write this down. You want ordinary. Ordinary gets good jobs. That's what you want. You don't want to stand out. Don't want to get made fun of. You want your kid right on the straight and narrow. Boom. That's your kid's name. Do it.
I
Do it now. You already paid me.
do I dare ask for a female name?
Molly.
Molly and Frank.
Yep. Well, I know you're having 2 kids. Is this twins? This is a whole different. This is all a different bag of apples here.
I don't know that. So basically, right now, I got to pay you $350 for you providing Molly and Frank to me.
No. This is only the $100. We're just having a little session back and forth. If
this is only
$350,
so it's
I'll give you. We'll talk a little bit, and then I will give you 10 names.
So it's $100 for the group think, of which you basically think for me.
I think the idea is that you would talk it through, and so you would tell me, hey, these are some of the names I like. Like, this is like my grandfather's name, so I was kind of thinking maybe something like this, but like not exactly like this. Here's a list of all my exes that we definitely don't want to name the baby, and nothing like these. And then kind of what you said of like, oh, well, that's a pretty ordinary name, and no one's gonna say I want an ordinary name, but it'll probably be mentioned whether you're looking for something exotic or you won't mention you wanted something exotic, which means you're kind of more partial to something a little more ordinary.
Very, very strange. Very strange. So you said that was the $100. What, the $350? They give you the actual name. Like, do I pay more? Do I get better names?
It sounds like you still get the 15-minute, and the first one, the $100, is called a name storming session. The higher dollar one, it's called a 15-minute consultation. So I don't know what the difference is there.
Yeah, all right. Maybe we got something here. Is coming up with a name that hard? I feel like part of the challenge is the fun part, though. Like, isn't that a fun thing to collaborate with your significant other with?
I think some of it is just like you just don't want to make a decision. Like, there's no real wrong decision, but once you make it, it's just very similar to like the going out for dinner. It's like, where do you want to go out to eat? Most of the time, like, you don't really care, but you just don't want to make the decision. If someone else just very confidently says, we're going to Outback, it's boom, oh, cool, all right. That guy's got confidence, and then you just go, and everybody's happy. But he could have easily said, we're going to Pizza Hut. And I'm like, oh, Pizza Hut, yeah, you know what? I could use some pizza. Boom.
Can we
ready
have,
to go. It's
can
just
we
a
have
confidence
somebody
thing.
Can we have somebody pay us $100 to just do that? What do you want to eat today? Boom, Domino's, done. $100.
Ooh. I don't know if we could do $100, but I think we could undercut these 2 women coming up with baby names. Maybe we just come up. Maybe this is a joint company, and we just make all of your decisions for you, and you just put us on retainer, and we'll just make all your decisions.
I love it. I'm ready to retire. All right, no more podcasts. It's too much work. I can't afford all these interns.
Did we talk about this on the pod? This sounds super familiar. Like, there was a woman that said, yeah, we definitely did. Oh,
Yeah.
It was like a couple months ago, and she said she was having
It was like $5,000.
she was having like a rough. Yeah, she was having like a rough stretch, and she was just like, for the next month, I can't remember the dollar value, but it was just like, you're gonna make all of my decisions for me. I'm just tired of making decisions. And I think you were like, even asked, like, is this an Onion article for millennials? It's like, nope, this was for real.
It does seem like life is hard. You gotta make decisions. You know, like I gotta decide what topic we're gonna talk about next because I don't know. You know, I need to pay somebody to just come up with this for me.
I was gonna say, you want to offload that?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of hard on my voice talking for an entire hour, so I want someone else to talk for me also. And my wrist kind of hurt,
so like an avatar.
My wrist kind of hurt, so I have a really hard time typing. So they're gonna have to record me and then just read it back out, and then they'll figure it out. You know, what am I paying you for? You know, this just all makes sense. Speaking of something that I don't think anyone's paying for it yet, but it does make sense. We've talked about Waze and Google Maps and kind of, I guess, their rivalry now looks like it may be coming to an end. At least Waze is going to have a feature with Google Assistant. That's big news. I think that's huge. I will say over the past couple of years, Google Maps has improved, if you ask me. And not that Waze hasn't, but I do think Google Maps has gotten a lot better with the traffic navigation. I think I would still trust Waze a little bit more. But if
I'm gonna stop you right there because I've definitely told you this before. Google owns Waze.
Yeah.
They bought them like years ago, like over 5 years ago.
It still feels like they're a competition, though, are they not?
No. like how could if you're owned by the same company, how could you really be in competition? The idea was Google liked how Waze had its own little community and didn't want to take that away. And it was like, we're fine with having this, but they do leverage, like you said, that Google will get some of their information from Waze to let you know about traffic. But it's like a symbiotic relationship more than I think competitive.
So you don't think there's a line between people that are Waze people and people that are Google Map people? There's not a division.
Oh, there's for sure.
I
There's
would
for
call
sure
that competition
a
then.
difference. But it goes to the same. It comes from the same pipeline.
All right, so you're saying when one app does an update, the other app doesn't also do an update to stay competitive?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that they're together. I think this is similar to if you go to a soda machine and you get Coke and then somebody else gets Sprite. Yeah, they're different flavors, but they're both owned by Coca-Cola, so they're coming from the same pipeline. Like it's two options, but they're not competitive.
All right, so why don't we just have one app right now then? Why do we have two, and why is this feature now a big deal? Why are we talking about this then? This sounds like a silly story then. I'm still convinced
Because
they're competition.
Waze has Waze is it's I guess like more whimsical. Like you're a little guy and you can change it to a motorcycle, or you can change it to a rocket ship. Like there's a bunch of options. You can change the voice settings. Like they always have celebrity voices that are constantly changing. Where Google is just a little more straightforward. Hey, I'll get you where you need to go. Google, I think now is doing will let you know if there's a speed trap ahead. That was a big thing that Waze had that Google Maps wasn't doing, of just, hey, like there's a car off to the side of the road, just giving you a heads up on things. It's like a little more immersive. But just having the Google Assistant right in Waze allows you, when you're using Waze, to just you're hungry. Hey, Waze, where's the nearest McDonald's? And or you say, hey, Google Assistant, whatever you say. And then you can go along your route rather than having to go out of Waze, go into Google while you're driving. Super dangerous. You could just use the voice activation feature.
Oh,
which
and
so
lives
are
were
much
just
more
saved.
of a fan of than I am.
So this is a life-saving change. This new
Yes,
edition. This is
it'll
going to
save
save
lives.
lives.
Yep, when you're hungry.
But it's all going to funnel to the same company because they're not competition.
Yes. This makes sense because they're the same company, so it makes sense that, hey, here's an option to make this safer. This will help drive business. We can find out where you're going, and we can let McDonald's know, like, hey, 39% of the time, people are willing to drive 2 miles out of their way to go to your restaurant. And all sorts of information on us.
Oh. Which app do you use? Do you use both, or do you use one more than the other?
I use both. There's actually a third app that I use called Calimoto, which is for when I'm on the motorcycle. It ideally is supposed to find more motorcycle-friendly roads, which can be hit or miss. I don't like using Waze on the motorcycle. I feel like it gives me the alert that I gotta make a turn too late, and I feel like it's kind of dangerous. So my default would be more Google. But if I'm in the car and I'm going anywhere where there's the possibility of heavy traffic, I for sure use Waze.
Yeah, I would probably agree with all that.
If I know where I'm going, like if I know I'm going to work and like maybe I heard there's an accident, or more likely the way home from work, I don't even mess around with Google Maps. It's for sure Waze. Let me know how to get home the fastest, knowing the current traffic situation.
All right. Well, thank you, Waze and Google, for providing us another map to track our every whereabouts and steal all of our data. So good for you guys. Way to save lives. Way to do that. I don't know how I'm going to transition to this Miami story, but we're doing it. Apparently, Miami is offering free shots out of celebrating women's national team goals. Am I reading this incorrectly?
Yeah. Did you see any of the women's World Cup game yesterday that the United States was playing in?
Yeah, it was like 13 to nothing, right? Something like that.
Yeah. So you're going into this. You're a business owner. You're saying, hey, yeah, people are really into the women's national team. All right, let's have some specials. And so they They had $15 Bud Light buckets, $20 Heineken buckets, $3 tequila shots, $6 Guinness, just a whole bunch of good ideas, and then capped off with a free shot for every U.S. goal.
Oh no! All right, I didn't know that. That's not where I thought this story was going at all.
And I'm thinking that's probably a good idea. Just that's not that much. They're gonna score probably 2 goals, maybe three, at most four. Oh no, 13. Now there's no follow up to find out, one, did they run out of alcohol, or two, like as a consumer, yeah, love free stuff, love being at the bar, love getting free shots, but that's too much. That's way too much. Like there was 4 goals in like 6 minutes, like something crazy like that.
Yeah, I'm good on the shots. No shots for me. I'm good on
Yeah,
that.
4 goals in 6 minutes. That's just dangerous.
Oh man, I didn't even think of that. I just thought of the total of it. Yeah. Do you think did someone survive all 13 shots while at the bar
I don't think
drinking?
so. I don't think so.
Yeah, that must have been a sloppy second half. I'm sure by the second half, that after they'd already scored and somebody had 7 shots or whatever, they don't even have any interest of them scoring after that. It's gone. Nobody even knows to go back up to the bar. Hey, they scored again. Give me another shot. At that point, you're just
Yeah,
in zombie land. You know, you're on your own.
yeah.
Definitely in the
You're
pocket.
probably at the point of, you're so drunk watching it and knowing soccer, you're just like, this must be a replay of the first half. Like this can't be the second half yet. Like it's got to be a replay.
So the
Like
only story.
I've seen that goal before, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, the only story I've really seen from this, I didn't hear about this story. This was a great story. I'm glad we talked about this. But I heard that there was some backlash on them, I guess more or less running up the score. 13 is excessive. I would say average soccer scores average between 0 to 4, 5 on a good day. But 13 is excessive. Obviously, that's a lock to win a game. But at the same time, these are professional tournaments. These are like you're playing to win. Like I don't really have that much problem with it. Do you have a problem with it? Running up the score?
No, I'm wondering if this is one of those situations, kind of, we get in the social media age of, there was a small percentage, like a handful of people that said, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like the celebration," like the bat flip people, and it just creates the straw man. So the rest of us, which is really the majority, can go, "Oh, look, everybody thinks that this is bad, but this isn't bad. This is great. This is awesome." And I just don't know. Like, are there actual people mad about this? Is there a large percentage of people that are actually upset, besides people that are from Thailand?
I mean I don't know what people expect. They expect somebody to beat you and then but not beat you by too much. Like we want to we want to compete with you, but we don't want you to try all the time because you're gonna beat us up this bad. No, nobody's ever asked
That's,
for
that's
that.
always that's always a thing too. Of, okay, you're gonna keep scoring. You're clearly better than the other team, but isn't it more embarrassing if you see a team is clearly not trying, and they're like taking pity on you, like, "Oh yeah, no, we're up 8-0. Like, yeah, we're just gonna try to, like, just kind of kick the ball around a little bit. Like, oh, we'll kick it to you every once in a while. Like, you're professionals too, but we'll try to be nice to you." It's like, no, no, I'm gonna keep running around and until, until this game's over. I'm gonna try to do something.
Maybe soccer's not the best example to talk about this where sometimes guys that are on the bench that play very limited minutes, like basketball specifically, if you're blowing a team out and some of those guys at the end of the bench finally get a chance to play, there's no way I'm ever asking, if I'm a coach, this guy to not try as hard who hasn't had his chance to play all year. Finally, he's getting some minutes right now. Hell yeah, they're gonna play hard, and if they keep beating you up, yeah, I'm not gonna be disappointed by that. I think you gotta be all right with that. Like that guy at the end of the bench worked just as hard as the starter. Now he's finally got a chance to do something in there. You can't be mad about it after if he does it better than anyone else. It just seems silly. But you're right. This is probably just it's not even really a story. It's probably just something that somebody wrote down and it trended for a little bit, and the outrage has probably already calmed down, and I'm sure it's probably not even that big of a deal.
Yeah, I think, yeah, just one of kind of like those social media things of, it just creates this straw man. Everyone can feel good, like, "Oh no, no, we're all on board with this. We're all on the same page." And really, it's like, yeah, there were like 3 guys that thought that this was upsetting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got about 10 minutes left on the podcast. I just want to remind everybody to go check out the website, lcalcb.com. Check out all the old podcasts on there, as well as a bio about Zach and I. Also, check out soldbywill.com for all your San Diego real estate needs. And don't forget to follow Zach on his Twitter, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
lots of good stuff going on there. I really just want to talk about one story that we didn't get a chance to talk about last week, and that was did we talk about the Kyle Lowry fan interaction? I feel like that was that
No, we
happened
didn't.
after.
That was after.
So I just real quick about this. We've had a couple of stories this year, and even just in the NBA playoffs about this fan interaction. Now, this wasn't just any old fan. This was, depending on which source you go to, an investor or a part-time owner of the Warriors shoves Kyle Lowry as he falls into the crowd. I mean, this is a little bit of old news right now, but I just kind of want to give a little bit of a take on it. We've talked on this before, that this isn't all right. This is definitely not okay. I believe he was suspended for the entire next season from Warriors games.
Yo, and it looks like he was fined $500,000, and it isn't official yet, but it sounded like he was going to be it's not forced, because you can't force someone to sell their share, and bullied's not the right term either, but it's like they're going to fully enforce him to sell his share.
I think they should. I almost feel like he shouldn't be, even if he does sell. I don't want this guy going to an NBA game again. Even if he does get all this money and he's able to buy the ticket without like having a team association with it, I don't want a guy like that in the crowd. I don't want anyone that's going to shove any players or really anybody in general for no reason. You should never put your hands on somebody else like that. That's just, it doesn't make any sense. There's no advantage of it all, and the timing of it was bad. I give Kyle Lowry so much credit for reacting the way he did. He was upset and he was pointing at the other guy, but I mean, if you poke the wrong bear, man,
his face,
could
have easily stepped up to him. Could have easily escalated. It showed a lot of restraint.
I'm telling you, we got to start replaying.
I don't know if I have that restraint.
We got to start playing that Malice at the Palace again. Like that needs to just start getting broadcast on like ESPN2 on a late Friday. Like fans need to be reminded, one, that these are enormous athletes that would probably beat up 95% of every single fan if need came to be. Like they wouldn't do it, but if they had to, if you keep poking the bear, it's gonna bite at you a couple of times. Like if it's swiped one time, like imagine if this was Cousins. That wouldn't have been all right. That would have gone very differently. If Draymond had just had a bad call and then fell into the crowd and somebody pushed him like that, it's probably not playing out the same way. But I also think it probably solves this problem altogether. Like the fans are getting way too ballsy.
It was one of those things where I missed it in real time and then didn't watch it immediately afterwards, but then started to hear the stuff that came out, and so I kind of came a little bit late. So I heard suspended for sure for the rest of the finals, suspended for the rest of the next year, and fined $500,000. So I went in expecting worse. So then when I saw what the push was, my immediate reaction was like, "Oh, that's it." But it's the way that he pushes him.
He goes out of his way to do it.
Doesn't fall on him. He doesn't fall on him. He fell and he smoked that girl. Oh man, I hope she's okay. I don't know why there's not more talk about that. But he's over 1 seat away. So he goes way out of his way to push him. And then it kind of hit me of, if the roles had been reversed and if Lowry had done that, it would have been a mess. It would have been an absolute mess. So it's like,
his career would have ended.
Cool with that.
It would have been done.
I don't know if his career would have ended, but he would have been in,
season
like,
would have
big
probably
trouble.
been over. Yeah, it wouldn't have been cool.
If he had reached across a seat to push a guy, sitting courtside, it would have created a situation. But then, as I kind of bring some of these topics to a more personal and kind of more on the funny side level of, can you imagine getting fined $500,000 and that doesn't absolutely ruin you? Like that's just damn it, speeding ticket. Like okay, all right, let me move some funds around. Like if I got fined that, like that, I'd be toast. Like I'd have to be like that kid that accidentally set the forest on fire and was getting fined a crazy amount of money. It's like I just don't have that kind of money. I don't know who you thought I was, but yeah, you're not seeing that.
I would not recommend any fan, even if you can afford the potential $500,000 fine of touching any other player or really just anybody else in general. There's no reason for it. I don't know, what is he gonna do? Like, what is he pushing him for? As if like, yeah, hey man, you hit my girl, don't do that again. Like, are you trying to be a tough guy in front of an NBA player? That just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I can think of is as like a wimpy excuse is just you got too excited. Your team was getting beat good. You thought you were helping your team, and you've been drinking since the afternoon.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, it sounds like
Said, wimpy excuse.
I doubt we'll be talking about him probably ever again. I don't think he's going to be. There's no way he's going to make the podcast again. This guy's done, and rightfully so. But it's been a fun podcast. I think we're going to wrap things up maybe a little early here. Just remind everyone to go check out the website, lcalcb.com. Check out all the old podcasts as well as this one. We're also on pretty much any streaming platform for that. So we got, is iTunes? iTunes isn't a thing. I think we got rid of that, right? However you listen to your podcast, we're available on that. As well as check out soldbywill.com for all your San Diego real estate needs. And definitely make sure you follow Zach and all his up-to-date TV watching, movie watching on his Twitter, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
Anything else you want to let the people know? Do you finally want to come to terms that Paul Pierce is not a Celtic anymore?
He's a Celtic forever. He retired a Celtic. That's not how that works. He's he's in the Hall of Fame as a Celtic. You don't need to worry about any of that. But Warriors are a 3-point favorite. I'm hoping that they win tomorrow night, so we get a Game 7 on Sunday night, because that sounds fun.
We didn't really even talk about the future of it all. I feel like everything else was the bigger news. Like, if Golden State pushes it to 7, that'll be fantastic. But if this game ends at 6, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised. Like, the bigger story is still going to be Kevin Durant's free agency. Like, I almost feel bad that Toronto's championship is going to be almost on the back burner to Kawhi Leonard's free agency, Kevin Durant's injury, and all this NBA free agency.
Clay was injured. Steph was not healthy, and all the stuff.
But
Looney was hurt.
Shout out to Toronto for showing up, staying healthy, and making shots, and more or less protecting home court advantage. But it's just been a weird finals. I don't know what's going to happen. I think Toronto is going to close them out on the road. What are you expecting to happen? I know you want it to go 7, but what are you expecting to happen?
Good. I was all set with my prediction. My prediction was going fine, and then last week you decided to jump on my prediction and basically say it was mine, and you killed me.
So are you updating it?
You stink. Warriors in 7.
Warriors in 7. All right, you're going back-to-back W's for them.
Yep. I'm staying away from your prediction.
Oh well. Do you want me to change mine right now on the fly? You want me to say that?
No, you already said it. You can't. No take backsies. No take backsies. It's done. It's already. It's on record.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit this after post-production here, and I'm gonna swap it without telling you. So after we're done recording the live one, I'm gonna go back and record this. Yeah, Zach's got the Raptors in 6, and I'm taking Golden State in 7. That sounds about right. But I am excited for it. I think it's gonna be a must-watch game. Enjoy some hockey tonight to hold you over for that. But I am hoping for a Game 7 on Sunday, and we'll be back next Wednesday. Generally record live at 3. Check out the website for that. We'll be back.
Well, little column A, little column B.